Well, I mean, speaking of rappers and other people's girls,
Yeah.
you actually put out that Offset, Chris Sean, Ari Fletcher,
What's up, man?
Sweetie, 10 bitches from Starlets.
The rumor refused to die, and it always led back to CD.
Well, I mean, speaking of rappers and other people's girls,
Yeah.
you actually put out that Offset, Chris Sean, Ari Fletcher,
What's up, man?
Sweetie, 10 bitches from Starlets.
The interviewer pushed for more.
And he said there's 2 more names that I don't even want to mention. When I heard those names, I was flabbergasted. So, in our usual fashion,
Yeah.
you know how you and I rock,
Yeah.
I want you to tell me those 2 names.
The internet ran with it. Blogs amplified it. Timelines exploded with accusations that CD had crossed a line with Cardi B's husband. But here's the part most people ignore. No proof was ever shown. Offset denied it. Cardi denied it. CD never publicly confirmed anything. Yet the narrative kept growing until Cardi finally had something to say. This is what actually happened between Cardi B, CD, and Offset. What everybody said. The accusations came from everywhere, and they came over years. Each one added a layer. Each one named the same people, and none of them came with proof. It started in August 2022, when a Twitter user accused Offset of sleeping with CD during a heated exchange with Cardi B online. The user was antagonizing Cardi over unrelated legal issues and escalated by making the allegation. Cardi responded in a series of tweets. She called the claims lies. She said no blogs or credible sources had reported it. She told the user they were fabricating stories and dragging female rappers into it with no receipts. 2 months later, in October 2022, Quavo and Takeoff released the track Messy from their joint project Only Built for Infinity Links. On the song, Quavo rapped lines that fans connected to the allegation. He referenced someone close to him being intimate with his ex behind his back. The internet filled in the blanks. Offset was the culprit. CD was the ex. The Migos split, which had happened months earlier in May 2022, was now being reframed as a consequence of betrayal rather than business. By August 2025, DJ Academics went further than anyone before him. In a widely watched interview, he named CD alongside Chrisean Rock, Ari Fletcher, and others as women Offset had allegedly been with during his marriage to Cardi. Academics said he assumed the information was common knowledge. He described being caught off guard by how big the reaction was.
You think there were business people that were plotting on you both?
For sure.
Yeah, and they were creating you guys, stopping you guys from being strong so that y'all couldn't go together against that.
In September 2025, rapper 6ix9ine publicly accused Offset of sleeping with CD and linked it to the Migos dissolution. In November 2025, rapper YG, who had briefly dated CD in 2023, dissed Offset in a freestyle, referencing both CD and Cardi's then-boyfriend, Stefon Diggs. Then, on Valentine's Day 2026, a Nicki Minaj fan account on X posted a photo claiming CD and Offset had made their relationship official. The post hit 1.9 million views, 10,200 likes, and hundreds of replies. The photo was actually of Cardi B and Offset from Valentine's Day 2022, taken during a surprise Offset had arranged involving thousands of roses, Chanel bags, and a $375,000 watch. The account had misidentified the people in the image to manufacture a story. Replies called it out, but by then nearly 2 million people had already seen it. Quavo's bars. Academics broadcast. 6ix9ine Ione's accusations. YG's freestyle. A fabricated Valentine's Day post. That is the full list of public claims, and not a single one of them came with evidence. But the people at the center of the story still had to respond. And that is where things get complicated. The Migos fracture. To understand why the Offset CD allegation gained so much traction, you have to understand the fracture that tore the Migos apart, a rupture that left fans desperate for answers and willing to accept almost any explanation, no matter how unverified. The Migos, Quavo, Offset, and the late Takeoff were not just a rap group. They were family. Quavo is Takeoff's uncle. Offset is their cousin. Their bond was forged in blood, not contracts, which made their split in May 2022 feel seismic. They had dominated hip-hop together for nearly a decade, reshaping the sound of trap music and becoming one of the most commercially successful groups of their generation. When Quavo and Takeoff began releasing music as a duo under the name UNC and Few, the silence from Offset was deafening. No public statement. No explanation. Just absence. City's connection to this world began in the summer of 2018, when she starred as the love interest in Quavo's solo music video for Workin' Me. What started as a professional collaboration turned into a 3-year relationship defined by luxury, public affection, and shared celebrity. Quavo reportedly slid into her DMs with a snowflake emoji, a nod to her Icy Girl brand. And by the fall of 2018, they were one of hip-hop's most visible couples. He gifted her a $75,000 diamond snowflake pendant for Christmas. She gifted him Bentleys. They attended award shows together, made music together, and quarantined together during the pandemic. Then, in March 2021, City announced the breakup on Twitter, writing that she had endured too much betrayal and hurt behind the scenes. A leaked elevator video showing a physical altercation between them made the split irreversible. And when Quavo dropped those loaded bars on Messy, fans latched onto the most scandalous interpretation available. The idea that Offset had slept with City, Quavo's ex-girlfriend of 3 years, was too dramatic, too fitting, too perfectly devastating for the internet to resist. It offered a clean narrative. Betrayal caused the breakup. One brother crossed the other. The family collapsed. But Offset told a different story entirely. In his sit-down with Keke Palmer, he was asked directly whether business people had exploited the rift between him and Quavo, manufacturing division, to weaken them.
I would be seeing headlines, and we men, so we don't play those games. We don't even know how to do that. And so it's just like, that was a weird thing, though.
Offset agreed without hesitation. He pointed to the business side, label disputes, financial disagreements, and the kind of industry manipulation that has dismantled countless groups before. He described the CD allegation as a convenient distraction, one that drew attention away from the real structural issues that pulled the Migos apart.
I feel like I had that, like some responsibility was on me, because what if I didn't go solo? What if I just thugged it out with the business not being right?
This was a confession.
He described feeling bewildered by the gossip machinery that had attached itself to their breakup. As men, he said they did not know how to navigate a narrative being constructed around them in real time. The headlines kept coming. The accusations kept circulating. And he and Quavo were left trying to process a family split while the internet turned it into entertainment. The tragedy of Takeoff's death in November 2022 added an unbearable weight to an already fractured situation. Takeoff was shot and killed at a Houston bowling alley in an incident completely unrelated to the group's internal drama. He was 28 years old. His passing devastated the hip-hop community and left a permanent wound in the lives of everyone who knew him, particularly Quavo and Offset, who were still estranged at the time. Offset revealed to Keke Palmer that he carried guilt over Takeoff's death, guilt rooted in the belief that if he had still been around, if the Migos had never split, the circumstances that led to that night might have been different.
You know what I mean? Maybe we wouldn't even been right there or in that place, because I just know how we move when I'm around a little bit. Like, it's just, I could read the room a little bit more, see, hey, this ain't the play, we need to get up out of here.
He described feeling bewildered by the gossip machinery that had attached itself to their breakup. As men, he said they did not know how to navigate a narrative being constructed around them in real time. The headlines kept coming. The accusations kept circulating. And he and Quavo were left trying to process a family split while the internet turned it into entertainment. The tragedy of Takeoff's death in November 2022 added an unbearable weight to an already fractured situation. Takeoff was shot and killed at a Houston bowling alley in an incident completely unrelated to the group's internal drama. He was 28 years old. His passing devastated the hip-hop community and left a permanent wound in the lives of everyone who knew him, particularly Quavo and Offset, who were still estranged at the time. Offset revealed to Keke Palmer that he carried guilt over Takeoff's death, guilt rooted in the belief that if he had still been around, if the Migos had never split, the circumstances that led to that night might have been different.
I'm the one that's gonna say it, and then I wasn't there, so it's like not having control or something like that, so close to you.
This was a confession that went far deeper than any cheating allegation. Offset was wrestling with the possibility that his decision to pursue solo work, a decision driven by legitimate business grievances, may have inadvertently set in motion a chain of events that ended in tragedy.
Do we have audio of her on the phone? Yeah.
I definitely ran into somebody. You know me.
He described himself as the person in the group who would call out danger, who would read a room and say it was time to leave. Without him there, he wondered if things might have unfolded differently. That burden. The guilt of absence. The helplessness of hindsight.
I don't play that. But I'll call you later because I'm on live. I'll tell you all the tea on it later.
That is what Offset was carrying while the internet debated whether he slept with his cousin's ex-girlfriend. The public conversation was fixated on gossip. His private reality was grief. Reports indicate that Quavo and Offset reportedly fought backstage at the 2023 Grammys during a tribute to Takeoff, with sources suggesting Quavo blocked Offset from performing. But by 2024 and 2025, the two had begun reconciling. They performed together sporadically, and Offset made it clear that whatever caused their rift, it was not seedy. It was business. It was industry politics. It was the kind of thing that does not make for a viral tweet, but destroys families all the same.
So after that, her fans started speculating who she was talking about, and they was assuming that she was talking about Sweetie.
In March 2024, both Cardi B and Saidi attended the Vanity Fair Oscars after party. What happened that night, or what did not happen, became another chapter in the ongoing speculation about their relationship. And like every chapter before it, it was built more on interpretation than fact. Cardi went on Instagram Live after the event. During the stream, she answered a phone call and mentioned running into someone at the party.
Because Sweetie had tweeted, I'm really just a bad bitch that mind her business. If you don't like me, that's on you and your mama, boo.
That was all she said on the subject during the live. She did not name anyone. She did not provide details. She told the person on the other end of the call that she would share the full story later, off camera.
Nah, but the insider explained Cardi saw Sweetie and supposedly she went over to her and started yelling in her face, "What you gotta say now?" or something like that.
See, they be mathing the math.
I guess.
That was it. A vague phone call on a live stream. But fans needed very little to construct a narrative. Around the same time, Saidi posted a tweet that read, "I'm really just a bad unsucker that minds her business. If you don't like me, that's on you and your mama, boo." The timing was enough for fans to connect the two events. Cardi says she ran into somebody. Saidi posts about minding her business. The conclusion was immediate. They must have had a confrontation. Reports began circulating that Cardi had approached Saidi and yelled in her face, demanding to know what she had to say.
Yes, but then Ken Barbie, who's another artist, quickly shut that rumor down, claiming that Cardi never even spoke to the girl.
See, math don't be mathing now.
That's what I'm telling you.
But that story was challenged almost immediately. Another artist, K. Barbie, shut it down entirely, stating that Cardi never even spoke to Saidi at the party.
There was a song that Quavo had, and the song was called Mess. The internet was talking, and you were quiet.
I was quiet because one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find out the truth.
This is the pattern that has defined the entire Cardi-Saidi narrative. An ambiguous moment gets spotted. Fans project meaning onto it. Gossip sites amplify the projection. And someone has to step in to say it never happened. Cardi's handling of the Saidi situation has been consistent throughout. She has never named Saidi in a direct accusation. She has never posted about her. She has never released a diss track aimed at her. What she has done is speak in general terms about betrayal, terms that fans have interpreted as coded references to Saidi, but which Cardi herself has never confirmed. In January 2023, Cardi addressed the allegations on The Jason Lee Show. She did not name Saidi. She did not confirm anything. She said she chose silence because she was investigating the truth herself.
And you know that I was finding out that truth. If I entertain something that I know is not true on the internet, people be like, oh, it is true because you're addressing it.
That was Cardi's approach. She did not react publicly. She did not slam Saidi. She did not post about it. She said she went looking for the truth on her own terms.
But when I don't address it, it's true as well. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to entertain. And at the end of the day, I know what's going on in my house.
Cardi described the trap of being a public figure dealing with allegations like this. If she responded, people would take that as confirmation. If she stayed quiet, people would take that as confirmation too.
What is one thing we don't know about Cardi?
She's a really sweet and down-to-earth girl.
Yeah?
In a 2025 interview with Kelly Rowland, Cardi implied that female rappers she had supported had turned around and slept with her husband. She did not name names. Fans immediately pointed to Saidi. But Cardi had mentioned similar sentiments before, and her album Am I the Drama, released in September 2025, contained tracks that fans interpreted as indirect disses towards Saidi, references to icy aesthetics and betrayal by supported artists. She named BIA explicitly on the album. She did not name Saidi. She did not name JT. The ambiguity was deliberate.
Was there truth to you and Sweetie?
No, man. It was a rumor, man. And I feel like it was something deeper than that for the split of me and bro.
Through it all, Saidi has maintained a posture of detachment. She has not responded directly to the album. She has not addressed the cheating allegations head-on. At the Ebony Power 100 Gala, when asked about Cardi, Saidi kept it simple. No shade, no tension, just a compliment delivered with a smile. Whether that reflected genuine warmth or strategic neutrality, it stood in stark contrast to the war fans were waging online.
I don't really want to touch on, but it's something deeper than that. I think that was just like that was a thing that was a bug that I heard. I think people was trying to tear my situation down in that situation.
The seedy allegation did not exist in a vacuum. T landed with such force precisely because Offset had a long, documented, and self-admitted history of cheating on Cardi B. The claim about seedy was just one more name added to a list that had been growing since 2017. A list Offset himself has acknowledged in broad terms, even as he denied the specific claim about seedy.
But when she left, I had to take that on the chin, because like, I could have been we got so much our kids to live for. I was being selfish.
In his interview with Keke Palmer, Offset addressed it directly. He denied sleeping with seedy. Then he went further, taking accountability for everything else.
And I can say that as a man. I'm a grown man. You know what I mean? I can say that.
When the conversation shifted to Cardi, there was no deflection. No blaming the internet. No pivoting to her behavior. He said he should have respected her more. He said his decisions were bad. He said he had to accept the consequences.
I wish there wasn't so much internet stuff going on. I done got out of pocket a couple times because, bro, you feel like you're getting bullied. Like, I used to never say nothing.
He acknowledged that his selfishness cost him his family. He acknowledged that his children, Culture, Wave, and Blossom, deserved better. He did not qualify it. He did not minimize it. He called it selfish, and he said he had to take it on the chin. What made this moment significant was not just the admission. Offset had acknowledged cheating before in vague terms. It was the clarity and the calm with which he delivered it. He described a man who had tried to stay silent, who had tried to let things pass, but who eventually reached a breaking point where the bullying became too much to ignore. As of early 2026, the divorce remains unresolved. Cardi and Offset remain legally married. Cardi briefly moved on with NFL wide receiver Stefon Diggs. The relationship moved quickly, public appearances, pregnancy, and eventually a split. Meanwhile, seedy has remained focused on her career, refusing to engage directly with the allegations. Offset has expressed openness to reconciliation. As of February 15, 2026, this is where things stand. Cardi is single. Legally married. Raising 4 children. Offset is single. Open to reunion. Still denying seedy. Seedy is single. Focused on her career. Saying nothing. The story that connected all three was never confirmed by any of them, but it has taken on a life of its own. The question this video asks, did Cardi B slam seedy for stealing Offset? Has a simple answer. Based on every available source, she did not. But the story that made people believe she did is far more complicated than any headline could capture. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click on one of the boxes on your screen to watch more similar content.